Hi. So, if things have become unusually challenging for you right now and you don't quite know what to attribute it to, here are some reasons that things may be very difficult for you or feel very challenging for you right now. One is if you're a believer, if you've given your life to the Lord, you are set apart. This is what I believe. And so now you are your contribution will have a completely different kind of impact. And the enemy is not going to just let you walk up into those blessings without challenge, because your winning is, it can't even be quantified. What it will mean for you to win, what it will mean for your wealth to increase, what it will mean for you to um, have greater influence, what it will mean for you to have financial stability, what it will mean for you to have more confidence, what it will mean for you to be able to give more easily. So the enemy is not going to just let you walk up into that without challenge. And so you might think, oh, but when I was a kid, or when I was, a younger kid, um, this was I used to, I used to go to this place to shop, or I used to interact here, or whatever. It wasn't such. Now you feel like nearly every little thing you do is scrutinized. Um, you're set apart. So your impact now is completely different. And that's part of why you may feel met with these different kinds of challenges. Another reason, um, if you may have learned that sharing your accomplishments with people, with some of the people around you, may not be the best thing for you. And that's a completely additional conversation. But so you may not share those accomplishments anymore, but people may have gone online and maybe have seen something that you did, a video that you did that got some attention, or in your community, you made some kind of a contribution, or maybe there was some kind of interview, something where your authority um, was enhanced. And there may be some who are used to seeing you as, the most junior member, or the person whose ideas are often dismissed, or not necessarily, purposefully or in a cruel way, but they're just used to sort of, what you say is not really something that's used to getting that kind of gravitas. It's so now that you're growing in influence, there may be some who have found out about it, that and you're not aware, and it makes them uncomfortable because they're more comfortable with the dynamic and the hierarchy that where you were in their eyes at the bottom. And now you are going to a different space. You're having a different kind of influence, and so. Um, there may be challenge to you that you don't understand because of that. You're supposed to stay in a particular place in their eyes. And now that kind of growth, instead of them knowing that any growth you have is really, if they're a part of that growth in your life, or, if they have ever done anything positive for you, that your growth means their growth. And if you've been instilled with the kind of ideas that that you always want to benefit the people that are around you, they would be happy with that kind of expansion. But it may be difficult for some to see you growing when, who knows, maybe somebody that you worked for as a kid. They're used to seeing you, always kind of, um, being underneath them, so to speak, in terms of authority or status. And even though in your mind, you always will have that kind of deference to that person, but to them it may be uncomfortable now that you're growing into a position of authority. And so you feel you're under a microscope just because some may be looking for your faults or your mistakes in order to deny the kind of perhaps in many ways inevitable growth that you're having, which also brings me to another point, the inevitability. I do believe that there may be like a collective unconscious. So, or a collective unconscious. So, as you, or both, but let's talk about a collective unconscious. So, where you are growing and people see that you're on the brink of a breakthrough, they feel that. So, there is an unprecedented level of challenge, of pushback, of scrutiny on you because you're about to make that breakthrough, even if people are not conscious of this. And in terms of the enemy or negativity, it will be like it's kicking and screaming and giving that last grasp to hold you back from your breakthrough because God has blessed you with it and you are about to walk into it. And negativity is not going to, again, as I was saying earlier, just let you walk into that without challenge and perhaps without what feels like significant challenge because it's a significant blessing and you're going to have a significant impact. So when you start recognizing these things, it will make it easier for you to say, I have to keep going. Another thing, jealousy. Although any child of God, I believe, has that beautiful opportunity to do wonderful things and have that kind of impact, there may be people who just don't believe that they can. And so seeing you do it is just a threat to them. It's not something that you've done to them. It's not something that you've done to hurt anyone, but the fact that they don't believe that they are able really can make them very resentful of you as you're going towards your own blessings. So that kind of jealousy may have them giving you advice, perhaps not consciously, but giving you advice to pull you back, to keep you in that role and to keep you away from that possibility that they feel jealous you could be walking into. So, you have to understand that it's not something that you should let hold you back. Somebody else's jealousy is something they have to deal with. They have to take time to recognize why they don't believe they think they can do it. Because if they do really believe that they have the capability to do it, there's no reason to be jealous or envious of you. Which brings me to perhaps the last point for today. And that is that you may get certain criticism, right? And I think this is important. You may say, oh, but I've gotten that criticism elsewhere, or I've heard that from disparate people who don't know each other. And you should always be careful because if you are, it's been said, if you are getting certain criticism from different, people who don't know each other, it's worth looking. Is this valid criticism that you could consider and grow? But remember also, if you are somebody who minds their business, often you're a quiet person, you mind your business, you don't try to hurt anyone. There are many people who have said you're clearly a kind person, and that you have to be careful because some people will take advantage of that kindness. And you just, again, look at yourself. If you're someone who does not bother people, You do not try to get in other people's way. You don't try to harm anybody. You mind your business. Um, then, and you've tried to take that self-reflection. So you don't want to just ignore all criticism and say, oh, everything is against me. No, you try to look at reasonable critique. But if you are a person that minds their business, people start gossiping, you move away from it. You're not perfect, nobody's perfect, but you try to just stay away from gossiping or, pulling people down, or you don't enjoy it. You try to get away. That's something that could be uh, very off putting for people in disparate places who don't know each other. So they may say something like, oh, you're stuck up, or you think you're this, or you think you're that. And you may hear it from different people who don't know each other, because that same quality of minding your business can feel like a threat to people in different places who don't know each other. It's just a quality that they have, that if you don't engage in that gossip, that if you are not a busybody, that if you are relatively quiet, and if you like to listen more than you speak, there are people who even your quiet and your calm will be a threat. And so you might say, oh, yeah, I've heard that criticism before. But also look at yourself. You're going to hear that criticism from a lot of places. If you're kind, if you're quiet, if you often stay to yourself, if you mind your business, you don't try to hurt anybody, people who are not at peace with themselves may bring similar criticisms to you. Again, always self-reflect and try to be honest with yourself. If there's something you can improve, then it's good to work on it. But if you're someone who's basically peaceful, kind, try to do the right thing, don't get up in people's faces, you are respectful, you can still hear similar criticisms from people who don't know each other, because they are similarly threatened by just your peace. So those are some of the reasons why you may be at your breakthrough point. You may be just about to walk into it, but negativity is kicking and screaming and throwing every last effort negativity can find in order to stop you from thinking that you're a worthwhile person, from knowing that God loves you, from knowing that you want to help others and try to do the right thing, so that you stop having that confidence, and negativity just wants to stop you. So remember that, especially the closer you get it. You've heard it said, it's always darkest before the dawn. So the closer you're getting, the more you're going to feel this kind of pushback. Don't give up. Don't give up. Keep praying to God for strength. Keep going to the Lord for everything, because the more you connect, the more you rely, the more you get close to the Lord and just rely on Him, the less you're going to be worried. And where the Bible tells us not to worry. So if you try to get close to God, stay close to God because you love Him, but you will also see so many gifts. And when negativity tries to come against you, if you've put your faith in the Lord, you are going to be, it's going to be a lot harder to shake you. So don't forget, rely on God, rely on the Lord, keep going. That's where your confidence should be. And keep going. And if your heart is in the right place, you're going to get there. So, all right. I love you guys so much. I hope that this helps. And I hope you like and subscribe. and that we grow together. All right, I love you guys. All right, well, see you next time.